Hello everyone, and welcome back to Turkish Spotlight Secrets. Settle in, because today we're peeling back the layers of a story the industry keeps whispering about but rarely faces head-on. It's the tale of a choice that might have changed a career's trajectory and, depending on who you ask, either elevated Love to the realm of legend or cost a star the international breakthrough he was poised to claim. The question is simple, the implications are anything but. Did Gökberk Yıldırım, the magnetic leading man adored by millions, put his global ambitions on pause for Cemre Arda, the woman whose presence lit up his scenes and, eventually, his life? We're going beyond surface headlines and into the connective tissue of timing, opportunity, and the kind of devotion that can rearrange priorities in an instant. Before we dive in, make sure you're subscribed and notifications are on so you never miss the stories we bring you. Your support helps us keep investigating the moments everyone talks about, and the truths nobody quite pins down. Let's start at the beginning, not at the tabloids, but on a set that turned into a heartbeat. Gökberk and Cemre were cast opposite each other in a sweeping primetime drama, the kind of series that dominates ratings and resurfaces on international playlists long after its finale. Their scenes had that rare, unteachable electricity. Close-ups that didn't need dialogue to say everything. It wasn't long before the warmth on screen took on a life off camera. Paparazzi caught the early glances, the backstage laughter, the way they seemed to move around each other without talking. Soon enough, the whispers turned into confirmation, and Gökberk Yıldırım and Cemre Arda became the couple everyone followed, from Istanbul coffee carts to late-night streaming queues in far-flung cities. But the most compelling stories are never without friction. Long before Cemre stepped into his frame, Gökberk had been quietly, deliberately building toward the world stage. He was the actor who didn't just rely on looks, he studied, he trained, he learned languages, he made connections that reached beyond Turkey's borders. Agents in Madrid knew his name. A casting director in London kept a folder with his demo reel. A Los Angeles manager reportedly set aside time for him every pilot season. People in the know say there were offers, good ones, the kind that plant you on billboards and open doors you didn't know existed. The narrative was clear, this was a star ready to travel. Then came Cemre. Together they were not just a couple, they were a brand, a feeling, a shorthand for romance that worked in any language. The covers rolled in. The joint interviews turned every answer into a photograph. Publicists arranged campaigns where their hands intertwined on camera and the products sold themselves. Their presence together amplified everything. Yet beneath the glitter, some observers started to murmur that the dazzling we might be overshadowing the he. For an actor like Gökberk, who had spent years shaping an identity as a singular talent, the couple dynamic, though intoxicating, could blur lines. When producers approached, they didn't always want just Gökberk Yıldırım. Some wanted the halo of Gökberk and Cemre. And that's where the debate began. Industry gossip intensified around a specific turning point, a streaming project shooting in Spain, the kind of production that changes trajectories overnight. Insiders describe a nuanced, layered role that would have showcased range and charisma in equal measure, paired with a European distributor hungry to spotlight a Turkish lead. The timing aligned suspiciously with the peak of Gökberk's relationship with Cemre. The official word for why he didn't take it never landed as one clean answer. Scheduling, creative differences, strategic timing, each explanation floated for a day or two, then drifted away. What stuck was the timeline. And with that, fans began to wonder, did he choose love over the leap? Did he quietly decide that proximity to Cemre mattered more in that moment than a jet set to another country and a life lived out of suitcases? To understand the pull, you need to consider Cemre Arda's position and presence. She was already a powerhouse at home, a face in every living room, a name that lit up brand campaigns from beauty to tech. Globally, her star was rising, but Gökberk's doors abroad may have been opening a touch wider, a touch faster. Joining forces accelerated them both. Their romance was the perfect campaign with no agency fee, instant visibility, endless reach, effortless charm. It's not difficult to imagine the gentle pressure, spoken or not, to keep the image intact. To show up as a pair. To say yes to appearances, endorsements, special shoots. To be there. And being there, often, meant being here, at home, together, working in the same city, choosing the sure path that kept the couple at the center of the frame. Another layer to this, the genre box. Gökberk's resume in Turkey shined brightest in romance and melodrama, the very world that ignited his chemistry with Cemre. Staying the course guaranteed ratings and a devoted fandom that followed him from role to role. But for an actor who'd been angling for more diverse work, gritty thrillers, arthouse films, prestige international series, the safe road can also be a cul-de-sac. When your love story is a national obsession, the gravitational pull toward more of the same can be impossible to resist. Advertisers want familiar warmth. Networks want what works. Audiences want the magic they recognize. Was he boxed in by love? Or did he willingly step into that box, believing it was the wisest path for both of them at that time? Fans split into two loud camps. One side saw nothing but bravery and devotion, a man who realized success without joy is an empty room and walked out into the sunlight. To them, Gökberk's choice, if it was a choice, was a testament to values the world keeps telling us to ignore. The other side, equally passionate, saw talent being rerouted. They asked why a gift made for global stages should be dimmed, even temporarily, to meet the demands of a public romance. The conversation spread. Studio corridors, stylist chairs, makeup trailers, group chats. Everyone had an opinion, nobody had the full picture. Which brings us to the question nobody can answer from the outside: how much did Cemre influence any of this? Those close to her describe a professional who values autonomy, boundaries, and careful planning. She is said to have encouraged balance, work first, private life protected, decisions made with the long run in mind. But privacy is a fortress when two people are famous. We saw curated moments, vacations captured at a gentle distance, red carpets smoothed to a mirror shine, affectionate looks that made headlines. We did not see every conversation at midnight when a script arrived with a foreign time zone attached. We did not hear the promises, the hesitations, the trade-offs. Only they did. What is certain is what the world witnessed, a relationship that became a cultural event. Their courtship was serialized in real time, with clips replayed and dissected, fan edits scored with songs that belonged to them as surely as rings belong to fingers. And then, slowly, the cadence changed. Posts grew less frequent. Public sightings felt carefully timed rather than spontaneous. Articles shifted tone, from adoration to analysis, from analysis to rumor. When the breakup became clear, it landed like a soft thud instead of an explosion. No public accusations. No dramatic takedowns. Just a silence that said, "This part is ours." In the months that followed, Cemre seemed to double down on momentum. New scripts, marquee brand deals, a campaign that showcased her as both classic and modern, everything aligned in rapid succession. Her profile remained luminous, her image controlled and calm. Gökberk, too, worked, choosing projects that intrigued critics and pleased the home audience. Yet the fabled international snowball that once seemed perched at the ridge didn't roll quite as far, at least not yet. To many observers, this became the evidence they needed to confirm their thesis: somewhere, something had been set aside. Others countered that careers are marathons, not sprints, and that timing, so often invisible from the outside, governs everything. Here's the truth that stops the shouting match in its tracks: every life, famous or not, is a set of trade-offs. Choosing a city means leaving another one behind. Choosing a partner means protecting the time to be with that partner. Choosing a specific project means saying no to 10 others. What we label sacrifice might simply be preference, a value system made visible. Maybe Gökberk Yıldırım didn't give anything up at all, maybe he chose exactly what mattered most to him in that moment. And if he did recalibrate, if love shifted the way his compass pointed, that doesn't erase ambition. It humanizes it. There's another angle, too, the definition of making it. Is success a Hollywood premiere and a foreign agent on speed dial? Or is it becoming synonymous with quality at home, commanding roles that audience and industry trust you to carry, and living a life that feels like yours? By any conventional metric, Gökberk is not a cautionary tale. He is a success story, booked, beloved, bankable. Maybe his relationship with Cemre reframed what victory looked like. Maybe the plan he had at the start was never the plan he truly wanted by the middle. And then there's the machine that feeds on love, the media orbit that never sleeps. When two stars become one headline, they stop being just people and start being commerce. Every glance becomes a product. Every trip is content. The stress of maintaining a couple narrative can make even the freest spirits feel caged. In that cage, choices are sometimes made to keep storms at bay. An event attended here, a trip delayed there, a role reconsidered because the downtime would tempt headlines that aren't true. If there were moments when the brand of Gökberk and Cemre needed protecting, it's not hard to envision decisions that prioritized harmony over risk. We can only speculate about the exact calculus. Was it a sweeping declaration, "I'm staying," or a series of tiny yes that added up to a year lived locally instead of abroad? Was it driven by a promise to Cemre, by counsel from their teams, or by a private instinct that this was the season to stand still and be in it? What we do know is that the overlap between their most visible chapter and the opportunities that slipped past is stark enough to keep the conversation alive. Maybe that's the real magnet of this story. It's not just about whether Gökberk Yıldırım made a sacrifice. It's what the possibility reveals about love at altitude. It reminds us that even in a life defined by premieres and applause, the quiet voice inside can ask for something different, and win. It suggests that for all our talk about momentum and strategy, the heart still negotiates terms the head must honor. So where does that leave us? With a portrait of two people who found a rare connection, tried to hold it in a windstorm, and, for a time, shaped their lives around it. With a career that remains strong, even if some doors were left unopened on purpose. With a love story that, whether or not it cost anything professionally, gave both of them an experience that cannot be measured in trophies or headlines. And with us, still wondering, still debating, still captivated. We've explored timelines, sifted through rumors, and listened to what the industry won't say on the record. The full truth belongs to Gökberk Yıldırım and Cemre Arda, and that's as it should be. But in the space between what we know and what we guess, there's meaning. There's a conversation about success that isn't one size fits all, about love that disrupts plans in ways we can't predict, about priorities that may shift and then shift again as seasons change. Now it's your turn. Do you believe Gökberk put global opportunities on hold for Cemre? Would you have done the same in his place? Tell us what you think in the comments. We read everything, and we want to hear your take. If you enjoyed this deep dive, like the video, share it with a friend who always has a theory, and make sure you're subscribed to Turkish Spotlight Secrets with notifications on. We'll be back soon with more stories that look past the spotlight and into the choices that make our stars human. Until then, be kind to your dreams, and to the people who change them.